All right, buckle up, everyone, because today we are diving headfirst into the world of skiing and snow sports.
Yeah, get ready for some serious powder talk.
You know it. We've got a mountain of research to cover today.
Academic papers, survey data, you name it, we got it.
Oh, absolutely. And we're not just going to scratch the surface here.
No way.
We're going deep.
We're going to uncover the history, the trends, the environmental impacts, the whole 9 yards.
The whole shebang.
Exactly. We're even going to look at how climate change is shaping the future of these winter wonderlands.
And trust me, there are some seriously fascinating nuggets in here.
Oh, yeah. Get this.
Yeah.
Did you know there are some ski slopes out there that are 100% impermeable? Like what?
Oh, okay. I did not know that.
And how about this? How does grooming those slopes, getting that perfect corduroy, how does that affect the bacteria in the soil?
Good question.
And could cross-country skiing, of all things, actually help mitigate the effects of climate change?
Yeah, that's a twist I wasn't expecting.
I know, right?
I am so ready to unpack all of this.
Let's do it.
But before we get ahead of ourselves, let's start with the basics.
Okay, sounds good.
What kind of skiing are we even talking about here? Because there are so many different ways to enjoy the snow.
Oh, yeah, for sure. So many.
Let's break it down.
Okay, well, you've got your classic downhill skiing,
Right.
also known as alpine skiing, where you're basically flying down those groomed slopes
Speed demons.
with those fixed heel skis.
That's the one that, everyone pictures when they think of skiing, right?
Oh, totally.
Those sharp turns, maybe a little après-ski afterward, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah, gotta have the après-ski.
Exactly.
But then, you've got Nordic skiing,
Okay.
which is like a whole different animal. It's
Yeah.
all about gliding across those snowy landscapes, often through forests or backcountry.
Yeah, I feel like Nordic skiing is almost more about the journey than the destination.
Oh, 100%.
You're really taking in the scenery, enjoying nature.
Exactly. It's more about endurance and, that connection with the environment.
So would you say that Nordic skiing is like the marathon runner of the snow sports world?
Oh, I love
While alpine skiing is more like the sprinter.
Perfect analogy. You nailed it.
All right.
But it doesn't stop there. Oh, no.
Okay, bring on the variations.
We've got telemark skiing.
Okay, telemark, I've heard of this, but I don't really know what it is.
So picture this.
Okay.
It combines the free heel movement of Nordic skiing
Interesting.
with the downhill aspect of alpine.
Whoa, okay.
So you're getting the best of both worlds, but it's definitely a challenge.
That sounds pretty intense.
Oh, it is. It takes a lot of skill and control
Yeah,
to really master those skis.
I can only imagine.
But, the payoff is incredible.
I bet it is.
It's like this beautiful blend of grace and power.
Okay, I'm adding telemark skiing to my bucket list.
You should.
But wait, there's more, right?
Oh, yeah, there's always more.
Give me the rundown.
So, for those adrenaline junkies out there,
Okay.
you got ski mountaineering.
Ooh, that sounds intense.
Oh, it is. It's like a combination of skiing and mountain climbing.
Whoa, wait, serious?
Dead serious. You use specialized bindings that allow your heel to be free for the ascent, but then fixed for the descent.
So you're literally climbing up the mountain on skis
You got it.
and then skiing back down.
That's the gist.
That is hardcore.
Yeah, it's definitely not for the faint of heart.
I can imagine.
It's for the adventurers, the explorers, the ones who push the limits.
Okay, so we've got alpine, Nordic, telemark, and ski mountaineering.
We're just getting started.
Oh, there's more.
Of course. We can't forget about snowboarding.
Oh, right. Snowboarding.
It's got its own whole vibe, its own culture, its own style.
It's like the rebellious cousin of skiing, right?
I like that, yeah.
It's all about those tricks, the half pipe, the terrain park.
Oh, yeah, and the free riding, carving through the powder.
It's a whole different energy on the slopes.
Snowboarding really exploded in popularity since the 80s,
Oh, yeah, for sure.
It brought this whole new wave of excitement to the winter sports world.
Absolutely. And then, of course, we have the OG
The original gangster.
of snow travel.
That's right.
Snowshoeing.
Snowshoeing, man.
I feel like people sometimes forget about snowshoeing,
They do.
but it's got such a rich history.
It really does. Some research suggests that snowshoes might have originated like 4,000 to 6,000 years ago.
No way, seriously?
I'm talking Central Asia, ancient times.
Wow, okay.
And get this, snowshoes in Scandinavia actually evolved into skis.
Wait, are you serious?
Well, I wouldn't lie about this.
That's amazing. So, the simple act of walking on snow thousands of years ago
Yeah.
eventually led to these incredible sports we have today.
It's a direct line from necessity to, modern day fun.
I love that.
It's incredible.
That's so cool.
It makes you appreciate those early snow travelers,
Oh, yeah, big time.
Their ingenuity and their adaptability, like, wow.
It's mind-blowing.
It really is.
All right, I got to ask you, for those listening out there, which type of skiing speaks to you the most?
Yeah, which one gets you fired up?
Is it the speed of alpine, the serenity of Nordic, the challenge of telemark?
Or maybe the history of snowshoeing that really calls to you?
I mean, it's amazing to think that all these diverse activities stemmed from that simple act of, navigating a snowy landscape.
It's pretty wild.
It really is.
And speaking of diversity, let's talk about the numbers, the stats, the participation rates.
Oh, the data. I love this part.
Well, me too. I love digging into the data.
Because it often challenges our assumptions.
Oh, for sure. You think you know which snow sports are the most popular?
Yeah.
But the reality might surprise you.
All right, lay it on me.
Remember the snowboarding craze of the early 2000s?
Oh, yeah, totally.
Everyone was hitting the half pipe.
It was everywhere.
It was huge. But guess what?
Yeah.
Snowboarding has actually seen a decline in participation since then.
Really? Wow, that's not what I expected.
I know, it's surprising, right?
I wonder why that is.
Well, there are a few theories floating around. Some experts say it's because snowboarding hasn't evolved as rapidly as other snow sports.
Interesting.
They're not innovating enough, maybe.
Okay, that makes sense.
Others say it's because skiing equipment and techniques have become more accessible, making it easier for beginners to pick it up.
So maybe there's a lower barrier to entry for skiing now.
Could be.
It makes you wonder how these trends will play out in the future.
Oh, yeah, especially with climate change throwing a wrench into things.
A whole other layer.
Absolutely.
So snowboarding's down, but what about the other sports?
Well, get this. While snowboarding has dipped in popularity, cross-country skiing has made a comeback.
A comeback?
Yeah, people are rediscovering the joys of a quieter, more nature-focused skiing experience.
It's like the whole slow living movement, but for snow sports.
Exactly. It's about appreciating the journey, connecting with nature.
I dig it.
Yeah, it's a beautiful thing.
Now, what about telemark skiing? Is it still like a super niche sport?
It's definitely niche, but it has a dedicated following for sure.
Yeah.
Those who love it really love it.
I can see that.
They appreciate the skill, the artistry, the unique blend of everything.
All right, but there's one statistic that really jumped out at me when we were prepping for this deep dive.
Oh, yeah. Which one?
Between 2005 and 2009, over 11% of Americans participated in some form of snow skiing or snowboarding.
That's a lot of people hitting the slopes.
It is, but here's the thing.
What's that?
Those rates were significantly higher for certain demographics.
Interesting. Like who?
Men, younger people, folks with higher incomes, and urban residents.
Okay, so specific groups were more likely to participate.
Exactly.
Makes you think, doesn't it?
It really does.
Like, is there an accessibility issue here?
That's what I was thinking.
Maybe these demographics have more opportunities to travel to ski resorts or more resources to invest in equipment.
Yeah, those are definitely factors to consider.
And then there's the whole cultural perception of snow sports.
Right. Like, are they seen as exclusive or elitist?
Big questions.
Big questions, and important ones if we want to make these activities available to everyone.
Couldn't agree more.
Okay, so we've talked about all the different types of skiing. And we've looked at who's actually hitting the slopes.
Yep.
But now it's time to address the, I don't know.
What?
The elephant on the slopes.
Ah, yes.
The environmental impact of all
Right. The real cost of all this fun.
Exactly. We got to talk about it.
Absolutely. We can't shy away from this.
And for this part of our deep dive, we're going to be drawing on some research from the Cairngorm Mountains in Scotland.
Okay, yeah, Cairngorm's classic spot.
It's a region that's been studied for decades to really understand the ecological footprint of skiing.
Decades of research. That's pretty impressive.
And from what I've been reading, the findings are, well, they're pretty sobering.
Yeah, they don't sugarcoat it.
Nope. The development of ski resorts, with all the infrastructure they require, it can have a serious impact.
Serious impact, yeah.
We're talking soil erosion, changes in vegetation, and in some cases, even alterations to the landscape itself.
It's like we're reshaping the mountains to fit our recreational needs.
Exactly, and it's not a pretty picture.
One study found that those unseeded ski slopes, the areas where the ground was disturbed during construction, they remained visually distinct from the surrounding landscape.
Whoa, really?
Even after 25 years.
25 years.
25 years, they were still visible.
It's like a scar on the mountain that just won't heal.
That's a powerful way to put it.
I mean, it's It's hard to imagine.
I know, it's a long-lasting impact.
And it's not just the visual impact either.
Right, it goes deeper than that.
These disturbances mess with entire ecosystems.
Yeah, they disrupt that delicate balance.
Affecting everything from like soil microorganisms to plants and animals.
It's all connected.
It's a reminder that even our leisure activities can have unintended consequences.
That's the truth.
And we haven't even talked about the grooming yet.
Oh, the grooming.
That perfect corduroy surface that every skier loves.
It looks so inviting.
It does, but apparently it comes at a cost.
It does. Research has shown that grooming actually increases snow density and hardness.
Really?
Yeah, and that can impact the soil bacteria and the whole decomposition process.
So it's not just about the surface level, it's about what's happening beneath the snow, too.
Exactly. It's altering the natural balance of the environment.
Even though we think of groomed slopes as being pristine.
Yeah, it's a bit of an illusion, isn't it?
It really is. It's like this hidden impact that most people don't even think about.
We don't realize the ripple effects.
It makes you question, like, is the thrill of the slopes really worth the environmental cost?
That's the big question, isn't it?
It is, and it's one we all need to grapple with.
Especially as we face these growing challenges of climate change and less natural snowfall.
Yeah, because let's be real, a lot of resorts are relying on artificial snow to stay in business.
Oh yeah, artificial snow is a whole other can of worms.
And that solution comes with its own set of environmental concerns, right?
Oh, absolutely. It's a trade-off for sure.
What are the main issues with artificial snow?
Well, first of all, it takes massive amounts of water and energy to make that stuff.
Okay, so we're talking about depleting resources.
Yeah, and then you got the runoff from the slopes,
Right.
which can carry nutrients and additives into nearby waterways.
So it's potentially polluting the water, too.
It can, and that further impacts the ecosystem.
It's all connected.
It really is.
And then I know there's been some debate about the additives used to make artificial snow.
Right, the stuff they put in there to help it form and last longer.
Yeah, specifically the use of bacteria.
Yeah, the bacterial additives.
What's the deal with those?
Well, while these bacteria are usually sterilized before they're used, some research has suggested that they might still have some negative effects.
Like what?
They could potentially harm certain plant species or alter the composition of the soil.
So it's like we're trading one set of problems for another.
It's a complex issue, that's for sure.
Are there any solutions in sight?
Well, researchers are definitely working on it.
Good.
They're exploring new technologies that use less water and energy.
Okay, so more sustainable methods.
Exactly. And they're also looking for more eco-friendly additives.
That's good to hear.
But even with all that,
Yeah.
the Alpine Convention has actually raised concerns about potential water shortages.
Oh, seriously?
Yeah, they're worried about the impact of diverting so much water for snowmaking.
So it's not just about the environmental impact on the slopes themselves. It's about the bigger picture.
Right. We have to consider the needs of local communities and the environment as a whole.
It's all interconnected, isn't it?
Everything is connected.
And speaking of connections, let's talk about the impact of ski resorts on wildlife.
Oh yeah, the animals, we can't forget about them.
I'm particularly interested in the example of the ptarmigan in Scotland.
The ptarmigan.
Yeah, I read about this in one of our research papers.
It's a fascinating case study and a bit heartbreaking too.
Yeah, it is.
It shows how our actions can have these ripple effects that we don't always anticipate.
What happened with the ptarmigan?
So these birds are native to alpine habitats.
Okay.
And they've really taken a hit from ski resort development.
In what way?
Well, they're facing increased nest predation by crows.
Okay.
They're colliding with ski lift wires, and their breeding cycles are being disrupted.
Oh no, that's awful.
It is. It's like their entire habitat is being transformed around them.
And it's because of us.
It's a tough reality to face.
It really highlights the need for responsible development,
Yeah, we have to be mindful of the impact we're having.
We need to find ways to coexist with wildlife, not displace them.
Absolutely. It's about finding that balance.
So while skiing and snowboarding offer these incredible ways to experience winter,
Yeah, it's such a magical time of year.
it is, but we have to acknowledge the impact.
Oh, 100%.
We can't just ignore the environmental consequences.
Awareness is key,
We have to be conscious of the choices we're making.
both individually and collectively.
And that brings us to, I don't know, maybe a slightly more optimistic part of our discussion.
Oh, okay, I like the sound of that.
Let's talk about the potential of cross-country skiing to mitigate some of the effects of climate change.
Wait, cross-country skiing can help the environment?
That's what the research suggests.
I'm intrigued. Tell me more.
Okay, so get this.
Okay.
Studies have shown that the compacted snow on cross-country trails can actually delay snowmelt.
Really?
And it can also delay the flowering of plants,
Interesting.
which could potentially help counteract the effects of rising temperatures.
So those trails we create for our enjoyment could actually be doing the environment a favor.
That's the idea. It's a pretty remarkable finding, isn't it?
It is. It's like a win-win.
It's a reminder that sometimes our actions can have unexpected positive consequences.
And it highlights the importance of choosing those less impactful forms of recreation.
It's empowering to think that we can still enjoy winter,
Yeah.
but do so in a way that aligns with our values.
I'm all about that.
And maybe even contribute to a healthier planet.
It's a good feeling.
It is. All right, but let's shift gears a little bit.
Okay.
We've talked about the present. Let's talk about the future.
The future of snow sports.
Exactly. What do the projections tell us?
The projections.
What's the long-term outlook for skiing in a warming world?
Well, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It's a little concerning.
Okay, hit me with the truth.
A lot of ski resorts are predicted to face shorter seasons, less reliable snowfall, and some might even have to close their doors for good.
That's pretty dire.
It is. One study projected that some downhill ski areas could see season length reductions exceeding 80% by 2090.
80%. That's insane.
It's a sobering statistic for sure.
Is there any hope for the future of skiing?
That's a question we'll be exploring in more depth in the next part of our deep dive.
I'm on the edge of my seat.
It's going to be a wild ride.
We've covered so much ground already.
I know, right?
But I feel like we've only just scratched the surface of this incredibly complex and fascinating topic.
It's a deep dive after all.
It is, and I can't wait to keep exploring.
Me neither. It's true, we've uncovered some pretty heavy stuff about the impact of skiing on the environment.
Yeah, and the challenges it faces with the climate changing like it is.
But, I think it's important to remember that even with all that, there's still room for hope.
Right, and innovation.
Exactly.
We can't just dwell on the problems.
No, we've got to look for solutions.
We're going to be proactive.
Absolutely. So that's what we're going to dive into now.
All right, let's do it.
We've talked about more sustainable ways to ski, like cross-country and making snowmaking more eco-friendly. But what if the future of skiing isn't just about changing how we ski, but where we ski?
Okay, now that's an interesting thought.
Right.
What do you have in mind?
So think about it. Traditional ski areas, they're facing shorter seasons, less reliable snowfall.
Yeah, it's a problem.
What if we saw a rise in, pop-up ski areas?
Pop-up ski areas?
Yeah, in unexpected locations.
Like where?
Maybe even urban environments.
Urban skiing. That's a new one.
I know, right? Places that might not get a ton of natural snow.
Okay.
But could use, innovative, sustainable snowmaking technologies.
So instead of relying on those mountainous regions with natural snowfall,
exactly,
we bring the skiing experience to more people.
Yes.
By creating these temporary ski slopes in cities and towns.
Exactly. Temporary slopes in city parks, on rooftops.
Whoa, rooftops.
Think about it. Or even abandoned industrial spaces.
Okay, yeah, I can see that.
Offer a little taste of winter fun, no need for extensive travel.
Yeah, and way less resource consumption.
Exactly.
I could totally see that.
Right.
Families taking their kids to a pop-up ski slope in their local park on a snowy afternoon.
Or city dwellers getting their ski fix without driving hours to a mountain resort.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
And the best part is, these pop-up ski areas, they could be designed with sustainability in mind from the very beginning.
Okay, I like where this is going.
Powered by renewable energy, water-efficient snowmaking.
Using recycled materials in the construction.
The whole package.
It's like bringing the mountain to the people.
Instead of the other way around.
And it would make skiing more accessible to so many people.
Especially those who might not have the time or resources to travel to those traditional ski areas.
Exactly, it's a win-win.
It's a beautiful vision.
It really is. It's like this perfect blend of innovation, sustainability, and a little bit of, I don't know.
A little bit of what?
Urban whimsy.
I love that. Urban whimsy. I'm going to use that.
It could totally change how people view winter.
Even in places where snow is a rare event.
Exactly.
It's an exciting possibility.
It really is.
As we think about the future of snow sports.
All right. But for now, let's bring it back.
Okay.
Let's recap what we've learned so far in this deep dive.
Sounds good. A little recap never hurt anyone.
We've covered a lot, from the history of snow sports to the environmental challenges. It's a lot to take in.
Yeah, we've been through a lot.
But it's important to remember the key takeaways.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
So where did we start?
We started with the basics.
The different types of skiing and snow sports.
Alpine, Nordic, telemark, ski mountaineering, snowboarding, snowshoeing.
We talked about the unique characteristics of each one.
The speed of alpine.
The serenity of Norik.
The challenge of telemark.
The history of snowshoeing.
And how they all evolved from that simple act of navigating a snowy landscape.
It's amazing, isn't it?
It really is. And then we looked at the trends in participation.
Oh, yeah, the numbers.
The decline of snowboarding.
The comeback of cross-country.
It's fascinating how these trends reflect changing cultural preferences.
And maybe even a growing awareness of the environmental impacts.
Right. And then we got into the heavy stuff.
The ecological footprint of ski resorts.
All that research from the Cairngorm Mountains in Scotland.
Soil erosion, changes in vegetation.
Alterations to the landscape.
And how grooming, while it creates that perfect surface,
yeah,
actually messes with the snow density and the soil bacteria.
It's all connected, you know.
It is. We can't separate our actions from the consequences.
We talked about artificial snowmaking.
The water consumption, the nutrient runoff.
The additives.
The potential for water shortages.
It's a complex issue.
No easy answers.
And of course, the impact on wildlife.
The ptarmigan in Scotland.
A reminder that we share these spaces with other creatures.
We have to coexist.
But amidst all these concerns, we also found some glimmers of hope.
We did.
The potential of cross-country skiing to help mitigate climate change.
Those compacted trails delaying snowmelt and flowering.
It's pretty amazing, actually.
It is. It shows that we can make choices that benefit both us and the environment.
So as we look to the future of snow sports, it seems like we're at a crossroads.
A turning point.
We can either continue down a path of unsustainable practices, or we can embrace new ideas, new technologies, new ways of thinking.
It's a challenge, but it's also an opportunity.
Exactly. And that's why this deep dive has been so important.
It's opened our eyes to the issues.
It sparked a conversation.
And that conversation needs to continue.
It absolutely does.
It's been a journey, that's for sure.
It has, with its ups and downs, but I feel like I'm walking away with a sense of hope.
Hope for the future.
Yeah, and a deeper understanding of what we need to do to protect these incredible winter landscapes.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Wow, it's amazing how much ground we've covered.
I know, right?
From ancient snowshoes to, like, the potential for urban ski slopes.
It's mind-blowing.
It really shows how our connection to snow is always changing, you know?
Absolutely. It's constantly evolving.
And as we look ahead, I think it's more important than ever to really think about how sustainable our snow sports are.
What choices are we making?
Exactly, both as individuals.
And as a society.
You know, as we were discussing all those challenges facing those traditional ski areas, I kept thinking about something that wasn't really addressed in those research papers we looked at.
Okay, what's that?
But it's been kind of swirling in my mind.
Intriguing. I'm all ears.
Okay, so we've talked about how we can ski more sustainably, like cross-country, and how to make snowmaking better for the environment.
Right.
But what if the future of skiing isn't just about changing how we ski, but where we ski?
Where we ski.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm listening.
What if, as those traditional areas face shorter seasons and less reliable snow, we start seeing, like, pop-up ski areas?
Pop-up ski areas, that's an interesting concept.
Right.
Like temporary slopes?
Exactly, in places you wouldn't expect.
Like where?
Maybe even cities, urban environments.
Urban skiing.
I know, right? Places that might not get much natural snow, but could use those innovative, sustainable snowmaking technologies we talked about.
Interesting.
So instead of always relying on mountains,
we
bring the skiing to the people.
I like it.
We could create these temporary slopes.
Yeah.
In city parks, on rooftops.
Rooftops, now that's a thought.
Imagine that, skiing on a rooftop in the city.
That's a cool visual.
Or even, like, in those abandoned industrial spaces, you know?
Repurposing those spaces, that's great.
Yeah, it would offer a way to experience winter fun without having to travel far.
And much less resource intensive.
Right, it's a win-win.
I could see that working.
I can totally picture it.
Yeah.
Families taking their kids to the park for an afternoon of skiing.
City dwellers getting their fix without a long drive.
And the best part.
What's that?
These pop-up areas, they'd be designed with sustainability in mind from the very beginning.
Okay, now we're talking.
Powered by renewable energy.
Love it.
Water-efficient snowmaking, recycled materials in the construction.
The whole shebang.
It's like we're bringing the mountain to the people.
Flipping the script.
I love it. It makes skiing more accessible for everyone.
Especially those who might not have the time or money to travel to those big resorts.
Yeah, exactly. It's brilliant.
It's a really compelling vision.
It blends innovation, sustainability, and a little touch of, I don't know, urban whimsy.
Urban whimsy, that's perfect.
It's like a whole new way to experience winter.
Even in those places where snow is a rare guest.
It's exciting to think about.
It is. It's a potential game changer.
And who knows? Maybe someday we'll be doing a deep dive into urban snow sports.
I'd listen to that episode.
Right. Exploring all the new technologies and creative solutions that made this vision a reality.
It could happen.
It really could. But for now,
we
got to encourage our listeners to keep exploring this topic.
Absolutely. Dive into those sources we mentioned.
Do some research, ask questions, start those conversations about the future of these sports.
It's up to all of us to shape that future.
And maybe even start brainstorming those pop-up ski slope designs. Who knows?
Yeah, there's a challenge.
That's a wrap on our deep dive into the world of skiing and snow sports.
It's been a wild ride.
It has. A huge thank you to you for sharing your insights.
The pleasure was all mine.
We've covered a lot of ground.
A mountain of information.
But we've only just begun to explore this fascinating world.
It's a lifelong journey.
It is. And we encourage you to keep learning, keep questioning, keep that passion for winter alive.
Keep exploring those snowy landscapes.
And as always, stay curious, stay informed, and stay stoked on the snow.
That's the best advice.